Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is my channel Ladybug Stitches. Today is July 8th and this is Flosstube number 32. It has been a really long time since I filmed a video. My last video was my mid-year whip parade, which was about a month ago, if not more. And I did want to say thank you all if you found me through that video. Thank you for subscribing. I did get quite a few new subscribers through that. It sounds like it's going to be like a really hard talking day apparently. I'm rusty at my Flosstube videos, so I hope you guys forgive me for that. But hello, my name is Hannah if you're new here. This is my channel Ladybug Stitches. I design cross stitch patterns under the same name, but I also share a lot about my own stitching. I love finishing. I got a display behind me that I am always changing out for the different seasons. I have to change out from 4th of July. I have to take a couple things out. I just haven't had the time. I love stitching. I've been stitching since I was a little girl. I stitched off and on from about age 8 until in college. I got back into stitching. I did a little bit of a gap. I mostly did Christmas present stitching, like ornaments and little things for my aunts and uncles and everybody. And then I kind of took a break for a while for high school, and then in college, my freshman year in college, I needed something to do when I was in my dorm room, so I picked stitching back up, and that's when I found Flosstube. It was about 2017, 2018, and I've been watching Flosstube ever since, and I've been stitching a ton. I started posting on Instagram all of my finishes, and then that kind of petered out after a while too. And then in 2023, I decided I wanted to start designing my own patterns because I've had so many different ideas. I sell my patterns on my Etsy shop as PDF downloads, and then I also have some patterns in paper that you can contact your local needle workshop about. And then in 2024, I decided I would finally take the plunge and film my own Flosstube videos. It had been something I wanted to do since I learned about Flosstube, and I finally just did it, and I've loved doing it ever since. I've met some really wonderful people through it, and yeah, I've been able to share a lot of my progress and all my projects, and you guys have had great ideas for me, and so it is definitely not something that I regret. And I love it here. So if you found me through my videos, thank you so much for being here. I hope you stay a while. I hope you like my videos and my stitching, and I'm just glad to have you all here. So yeah, over the past month, I haven't done as much stitching as I would have liked. I've had a lot of hand pain because I've been typing too much at work. I'm pretty much typing for like 7.5 hours every day. And I just don't have time to pull out my stitching, and I've been resting my hands. I will show you, I guess I can show you right now. So here is, I write down all of the projects that I've been working on for each day. It is very messy. I do have really bad handwriting, but what you can see here are the X's. Those are days that I did not stitch at all. This is June, and so that was my last Flosstube video. And July, I have really not stitched much at all. So it's been a bit rough, and I'm planning on taking a whole week off from stitching and using my hands for a lot of different things. So hopefully I can get back into stitching when I'm ready. But in the meantime, I do have some FFOs and FOs, and I'm not really sure what you have seen and what you haven't seen that I finished. So of the FFOs, I'm just going to assume that you haven't seen them finished yet. But yeah, we're going to start with one of the Jolly Old St. Nicholas Santa Clauses from West Point Designs. Let's see. I finished this Santa up here, and I finished him as a stand-up. So I stitched this Santa on a 14 count coffee tea dyed Aida with the called for DMC flosses. I did leave off the sack of toys that was down here, and I left some of the back stitching off that was in here, I think. But otherwise it's the same. Let's see. I did finish him into a stand-up, like I said. So I followed Helen D's tutorial. She's East Coast Crafter. It was a really great tutorial and I highly recommend watching it. I pretty much did exactly what she said, and with a couple of changes, just because I have a terrible time following instructions and I go off the beaten track and I do whatever the heck I want most of the time. So I put this snowflake plaid pattern on the back and on the bottom as well, and then I found this sparkly cording for the sides from Christmas time, and then I also added this charm. Hopefully you can see that. It's on one of those clips, and then I added a button. I don't know if it's gonna focus or not. And this charm says 2025, and that one says made with love. These were given to me by Wendy from Wendy's Whimsical Stitches on YouTube. And then I added the bead myself, but yeah, I think it turned out really cute and I'm super happy to have him done. I'm definitely gonna try to stitch all of these if I can. I'm not really sure which one I want to do next. I'm thinking I should probably do Mrs. Claus next so he's not alone. But other than that, I'm not really sure what I want to do next. But I am going to hold off a little bit just because I'm glad that I finally got this Santa done. It's a lot of block stitching, but it's kind of annoying stitching. So I didn't get through them as fast as I had hoped. But anyway, I'm not really sure which one I want to do next. I will figure that out when I'm ready to start the next one. Okay, so there's that Santa. And then since I had my sewing machine out and I wanted to do a couple of things, I finished another stand-up, which is Sei Personaggi in Cerca di Halloween by Quare Batticuore. I did this witch over here. No, yes, that witch over there. And this is what she looks like. This one I also modified quite a bit. They're supposed to be finished square or rectangle, whatever. I did not include the border, and there's supposed to be a heart at the top of the hat. I didn't include that. There's squiggly lines coming out of the beaker with some hearts. I did not do that because I didn't want to, I wanted to close it off there. And I think I just didn't do shoelaces for some reason on her boots. I just didn't feel like doing it at that point. I think everything else, I did change her skin color and the color of the broom because it didn't show up on my fabric. This is a 14 count fabric that I dyed like an orangey color, and then I kind of washed the dye out a little bit. So there's a little bit of modeling on there. Everything else is the same. It is the called for DMC floss, and I did kind of just like make my own broom bristles. Because I did not feel like looking at the chart for that. I just kind of did my own thing, and I squared it off to the top of her hat so it would be easier to finish. And like I said, I did use Helen D's tutorial, and on the back I did an orange polka dot, and on the bottom is the same thing. This one I did, so on her tutorial she does a circle bottom, and then in one of her Flosstube videos like a while later she did say she changed it to be more of an oval shape, just to kind of not make it so round at the bottom, to just kind of like spread it out a little bit more. I attempted to do that, and this one turned into more of like a rounded square, and this one is a bit better at an oval, but they didn't come out quite, but who cares? I don't care. And then on the sides I used, if you can even see it, it's an orange twine kind of thing. And yeah, I also added a hook on the back. I don't know if these hooks have names. They come on clothes sometimes with the tags, but I added another 2025 and an orange bead. It's a little hard to see, but it's there, I promise. So I'm really happy. These are my first stand-ups really, so I was really happy to get them done. I will also be doing all of the people in this series. I guess not series, package, whatever, pattern. I have the fabric pulled for all of them, and it's like with the Santa, as soon as I'm ready to start the next one, I will. But I'm in no rush, so super happy with how this one turned out. And then I have one more finish, I guess you can call it. It is 5 mini pillows. They are free patterns by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. They're on her blog if you're interested in stitching them as well. They are, I guess, part of a series a little bit. She released them all separately, and I printed them all out, and since they're all pretty much the same thing, I just kitted them up together, and I was working on them at work when I had the time, and then I wanted to get them done for 4th of July, so I quick finished them up. And I finished them all as pillows with cording, and there's all 3 different backgrounds, so I will show you as I go. And I just pulled some random flosses, and they're all on 14 count fabric that I dyed blue. So we have Justice for All with this blue cording and star background. We have Old Glory with white cording and this wavy flag pattern. We have Freedom with a blue cording and the stars on the back, and Liberty with the blue cording and the stars on the back. And this one is America, and I pulled the wrong floss for the America part, and I decided it was okay. I wasn't gonna rip it all out because I think it stands out better. It was supposed to be this dark color, but I like how it stands out a little bit more now. And I did the red cording, and then I added this floral background to the back, which I think is really cute. So I'm gonna try to hold them all up at once if I can. There's all of them. I think they're super cute. I didn't get to put them out for this year. I wanted to show you guys first, and there was no way I was shoving it in this display behind me. There's just no room right now. So I wonder if maybe next year I will finally have enough decor and stitching to put out just for 4th of July. Because behind me I have like all of my 4th of July and all of my summer kind of pieces all in the same display. So I'm kind of hoping that next year I will just have a 4th of July display for a little while. We'll see. I do have a couple more pieces that I have finished and haven't FFO'd yet. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys already. I did Miss July and that Scatter Freedom one. So I haven't finished those yet, and I have one more that I am stitching right now. So hopefully that's going to be enough for a display. So we will see. Okay, so those are my FFOs. And then I know for sure this one is an FO that you guys haven't seen yet. A lot of these, so I got a lot of these done by doing just one for June, which is a stitch along hosted by Emma and Brandy of B&E Stitchery, maybe. They did it on Flosstube. They announced it on Flosstube Instagram. I showed all of my stitching that I did on Instagram, and I kind of stopped towards the end of the month because I didn't really have anything else that I could finish real quick. But yeah, I think this was my last finish for just one for June. I really wanted to get all these projects done that were just super close to a finish. Let's try to find where the heck I put it. And this one was one that was really close to a finish that I really wanted to get done. So anyway, this is Country Cottage Needleworks Big City Christmas, the music hall. I have this whole series kitted up in this bag. It's kind of like a folder almost. And I will not fully finish any of these until they're all done, so then I can do them all at once. So I did everything that the pattern said with all the called for DMCs, except for the garland at the top. I didn't include that. I think I'm going to finish these as stand-ups, or I'm going to put them on styrofoam blocks, one of those. I think, at least for now, that's my thought, but this is the first one I've done in this series so far, and I have all the rest in this series that I haven't done yet. So it might be a couple years before I fully finish any of these, but I think they're super cute, and I will take my time with them, and that's okay. This is on, I think it's a 14 count coffee tea dye data, or it's an 18 count. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's a 14. With, like I said, the DMCs, not the, I think it calls for some classic color works, and I don't have any of that, so I just did all the DMCs. I think it turned out really cute, and I really like this one. I'm not really sure which one I'm gonna stitch next, but like I said with the others, once I'm ready to dive back into this series, then I can decide for that later. Okay. Those are all of my finishes. Now I just have my whips. Let's see. So I was working on, this pattern is 4th of July Round by Primrose Cottage. It's the free pattern that they send out in their newsletter. They send out one free pattern every month, and I really wanted to do this one because I also stitched Miss July. I think it's by them too. I could be wrong about that. I dropped the pattern. But I'm gonna finish Miss July on one of these little cardboard boxes that I had. I'm putting Miss July on a blue one instead of the red, and then I had one more box left to do, and I really wanted to find a round 4th of July piece to go on here, and then this pattern came out like a day or two later, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So I kitted this one up. I think I told you I was gonna do this one, and then I did actually start it, and you guys should have told me no. Stitching over 1 on 32 count is a bad idea, a really bad idea. Please do not do that. I will never do this again. This pattern is taking me way too long to get done, but it's such a pretty pattern, and it's gonna fit perfectly onto this box, I think. But it's just taking forever to do, and I just don't want to pull it out because it is so tiny, and it just takes too much brain power sometimes, and that's why I have not got this one done yet. But I'm getting there. I feel like the camera is very blurry today, and I'm really sorry if that is what it is. It's like storming out a little bit, and I had to turn my air off, and so it's not the brightest out, and whatever. I'm sorry. But it is really tiny, so it's not gonna focus too well on it, I don't think. But yep, that's where I'm at. I am using fancy flosses. Okay, I thought I lost my scissors, but they're in there. But I'm not using the called for. I'm using Gentle Arts Oatmeal for the white, Gentle Arts Dungarees for the blue, and Weeks Dye Works Baked Apple for the red. Just whatever I had that I could pull. And I'm not sure, I know in the flags here, there are white stripes, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna add the white in there or not, because if you kind of look at it, it kind of, not that you can see it, but it kind of looks already white because the fabric is a nice light blue. This is the fabric that I stitched Miss July on, if I didn't say. It's a 32 count light blue Lugana by Witchell. So I wanted to put them on the same fabric. That's why I had to do over 1, because I needed it to fit on the box as well. So anyway, I feel like the fabric is a nice light color. It kind of tricks your mind into thinking that it's blue or white in between. But if I get to the end and I really decide I want to do it, I might do it. I'm not sure yet. But that is where I'm at so far on that one. I can only pull this one out in the daytime too because it's really hard to see. So that also limits the time that I can stitch on it, which is unfortunate. Okay. Next, I pulled out Nature's Journey by Sprouting Lupine, which is the 2025 stitch along from the Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is the spring one. I'm still on spring, even though spring and summer have been released, but I am up here. I'm working hard at it, but it does take a while. Let's see, here's where I'm at. I stitched the bee and I think this flower. I think that was it. So all I have left in the spring is there's one more flower over here and one more flower over here. I do have to finish these mushrooms. I have to find the floss. This is one of the projects that I have the floss pulled from all different projects. So most of the floss is not actually in this bag. So I do have to go on a scavenger hunt when I'm trying to find all these flosses. I haven't found that one yet. I'm not sure where it is. I know I have it written down, but I just haven't pulled it. And then there's a tree branch going across. So let's see. Hopefully you can see that. Yep. This is a 18 count coffee tea dye data, I think, with the called for DMC flosses. But yeah, it is taking me a while, but I think it's gonna be really, really pretty when it's done, and I'm excited to see that. So that is where I'm at on that gorgeous piece. I do have all this down here too, but I just don't feel like taking it out of the hoop yet. I would love to get back to this one. Stitching in a hoop seems to be better for my hands, so that's why I pulled that one out, and I've been trying to stay away from handheld projects, but all the things I want to stitch are not in a hoop or anything because they're small. Okay. Put that away. Next, I don't even think I pulled this one out for very long, but this is 5 Kittens by Joy Sunday Cross Stitch. That's what it looks like. It's a stamped cross stitch kit. I pulled it out a little bit, I guess. This is where I'm at. I was working over here on this cat. I got most of this dark orange done, and then I started working in on the lighter orange or tan or whatever you want to call it. I might have done a little bit of black, but not very much. I'm getting pretty close. All that yellow is black, and this cat has to get filled in, and then it's just back stitching. So I think I want to get the cat finished and then just trudge through all the black, because I think the cat is holding me back from working on all the black for some reason. I think it's because I don't want to get all the black done around the cat and then have to try to work in all these stitches around all that black. So I think that's why I'm trying to hold off a little bit. So I did decide to go on and try to fill this cat in, but that's where I'm at. And I was really hoping to get this one done for just one for June, but I kind of petered out, like I said. And that's where I'm at. I would love to get this one done by the end of this year, but I'm gonna try to figure out when I can fit it in. But we'll see. No rush. Okay, next I have the Enchanted Realms Stitch Along by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This was their stitch along for last year, and I'll take this one out of my hoop so you can see it easier. I got really far behind in the stitch along, and I think I have 2 or 3 more parts left to do, and this one is just almost done. So it's very wrinkly, I apologize. The first part was the dragons, and then we went down to the mermaids and the fairies, and is that fairies? Yep, fairies, and then the Pegasus up here. There's one more Pegasus that I have left to do, but last you saw it, I did finish the rainbow and the sun. I have one more Pegasus, and then I have, I think, 2 more sections. Yeah, that would make more sense. 2 more sections. They do go pretty fast, which I was surprised about. So it shouldn't take too much longer to get through this one. But I really want to frame this one in a circle frame, and I've been thinking about trying to go get a circle frame from a thrift store or something. Otherwise I have to look online, I guess, but I really want to put it in a circle frame, I think. This is on a 14 count fabric that I dyed like a green and a blue and a purple and a bunch of different colors. I dyed it specifically with this project in mind. and I'm using all of the Colored for DMC flosses. So that's where I'm at on that one. I just pulled it out for like a day. I brought this one with me on vacation actually, and that's all I got done because my hands were hurting a lot. But that's a good amount for now. Okay. I have one more whip, and that's it. Okay. My last whip is not so much of a big start, but I wanted to do some Christmas and July stitching. Usually I only stitch my Christmas ornaments around Christmas time, but I've done a couple ornaments throughout the year, like in previous years, and I decided if Christmas is calling to me, I might as well just answer the call. I am working on a Christmas ornament that I had kitted up for last Christmas and didn't get to. It's called Prim Winter Cheer, and it's a freebie by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. It's from October 13th, 2021, if you want to go back on her blog and look for it. But this is what it looks like. It's Santa in a sleigh. This is part of a series, and I've done a couple other ones in this series. And I have them all printed out, so I would really like to do them all one day. But I'm just working through them. So this is on that same fabric that I stitched Big City Christmas on. I had some extras, and I think it's a 14 count, but I'm not positive. But this is where I'm at. I got his face done, and then I just started in on the white, and that was as far as I could get with my hand paint. But I think that's a good start for an ornament, at least. I'm not using Colored for colors, I'm just using whatever I have. And I just got it in this Ziploc bag, which I then put in this bag, which has a bunch of other Christmas ornament projects in it. So that's what I brought with me on vacation. Okay, those are all my whips. Like I said, I haven't been able to stitch too much. I don't know if I'm pushing the table or not, but it's wobbling a little bit for me, and I can never tell if it shows up on camera or not. But okay, plans. No, haul. The tiniest bit of haul. I went to Walmart the one day with my mom, and they had some yards of fabric for 4th of July, and I picked some up because you can never have too much. This is a really nice blue. It's not like a denim, but it's a really nice fabric, and I feel like this could be used for a lot of different seasons and holidays, so that's a good staple to have. And then this one is a good 4th of July kind of fabric that's kind of plain, so I picked those up. And then I got my Halloween issue of the Just Cross Stitch magazine. This one, there's nothing that stood out to me like, oh my god, I really have to stitch that immediately. But there were a couple that I really did like. I will show you a couple. Let's see. I really liked Little Mushroom Ghost by the Little Stitcher. Isn't that so cute? I love the oval frame too. Like, if I stitched this, I would love to put it in an oval frame, but then I would have to find an oval frame, and I'm not sure. I also don't know how I would display that because I don't put seasonal stuff on the walls, but that's super cute. And then the other one I really did like was Paranormal Activity by Flossie Fox Shop, because that's super cute. I saw somebody else had posted this before the magazine came out, and I really liked it then. So I think I might, it's not really my style, but I think I might have to stitch that one because it seems pretty quick. And I don't have a lot of Halloween decorations. I'm glad I do finally have this because I really don't have that much. I'm just not a big Halloween kind of person. I'm more of a Christmas person. So I don't stitch a lot of Halloween. I tend to skip over it and go right to Christmas. But I do have a good amount of Halloween patterns that I could stitch. And then I have this year's magazine and last year's magazine. I really liked a lot of the things in last year's magazine. So I just need to like pretty much force myself to start stitching Halloween because there's really cute things out there. I just don't ever feel called to stitch them. So that's something I definitely need to work on. But anyway, I got my magazine, and we have plans and life updates left, and that's about it. Plans, like I said, I'm going to try to take a couple days or a week off from stitching. So yesterday was my first day off from stitching, and I'm going to see how long I can possibly last. I was picking too many blueberries and black caps and typing too much on my computer and forcing my hands to do too many different things. So they are screaming in pain and telling me to stop for a while. I guess I have to listen for a little while at least. So I'm going to take a break from stitching for a little while, see how long I can last. And then when I come back to stitching, I'm just going to pick up whatever calls to me. I'm still trying to work on getting my whips down. I have too many things. My brain is being pulled in too many different directions on what I want to stitch. And I've really held off on starting too many different things, which I'm really impressed with. Usually I would just kind of like start whatever the heck I want, but I've been holding myself back because I really do want to get my whip count down. If you are new here, when I first started Flosstube, and before that, I really was like more of a monogamous stitcher. I think my first whip parade had maybe 10 whips at the most. And now I'm in the 20s. I think I was about 30, and then I've been working on trying to get that number down a lot. I cannot focus on too many different things at once, so that's why I need to get that down a lot if I can. And I have been finishing quite a lot of things since I've been on this journey of trying to get my count down for this past, I've been doing it for most of this year, so that's pretty good. But yeah, so I'm just gonna stitch whatever I am called to stitch. And then life updates. I've really just been busy with work. I work 2 hours away from my home, so I do stay with my dad, and I don't get to bring all of my stuff to work on it. I'll bring a project or two, and I don't get to finish a lot of things. So I've been really busy with that. And I just got back from my vacation. We go up to my family's property in upstate New York. We just got back yesterday. If you could see my room, it's a disaster right now. I'm still trying to unpack and everything. But I really wanted to get this video out to you guys before it gets away from me anymore. Vacation was really good. I picked a lot of blueberries. Usually that's what I do. We go out onto the property where there's a lot of wild blueberries. And last year I think I picked over 10 cups of blueberries. This year I think I picked about 8, something like that. They were not quite ready by the time that we left. They were just about getting ready, so I didn't really have a lot of time to pick any of the berries. And this past Saturday, when we were up there, my stepbrother proposed to his girlfriend, so we had a really big party up there. We went to wineries to celebrate, and so that was a day that was very busy as well. And then I think this past weekend and on Monday and today has been like in the 90s, really hot, so not really wanting to do anything anyway. Just kind of chilling and hanging out, so that was really nice. My garden's doing really good. I joke that I am tomato farmer this year because nothing else is really growing. And now it seems like I might not even be a tomato farmer because I really don't have a lot of tomatoes on my plants right now. Usually when I come back from vacation, it's a yearly vacation, I have some cherry tomatoes that are ready to be picked, and my big tomatoes are usually getting close to being ready, and I have cucumbers ready, and I really have none of that right now. So I guess the garden is a little bit delayed this year. I've got a lot of tomato plants that are growing. Not sure if they're doing much, but they're trying. I've got some cucumber plants, and then my flowers are really kind of holding in there. So it has been really hot, and I've been out there watering all the time. I watered today for like a half an hour. I watered everything, and then half an hour later it downpoured. It was thundering, so that was great. If you ever want it to rain, you gotta water your plants if you want to know that. But yeah, I think that's about it. It's a half an hour, so that's a good long video for you guys. You can go off and do your own thing now. I will let you all go, and I will see you all in my next video. Might be another month now or so, but I will see you all then. Bye.